indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
Dear Heavenly Father, thank you for this day that you have given us. You're such a wonderful God.
Hello everyone, this is Katie Lopez, and I am coming to you today with some information on how to homeschool your children if you have more than one child. Specifically, if you have a baby or a toddler also, that can make things pretty tricky. So I wanted to put some ideas together, looking back over the years that I've homeschooled with young children, and what I have done in the past and currently that seems to be working. So I hope these tips help you. Again, if you're a new viewer to my channel, welcome. And most of my videos are for the new homeschool mom or dad, but if you are a veteran and you just want some more tips, please listen along. All right, so one of my first thoughts is, I'm a believer in Christ. I love Jesus very much. So I pray. That's my very first tip. Pray for wisdom for yourself, as well as for your own children. He will guide you in how to raise your children, as well as how to teach them and give you new ideas to help with arguments or keeping the peace and all these kind of things throughout the day. But also try to pray for your children themselves so that they will be obedient and they will want to learn, that they will be peacemakers. Anything you can think of to pray daily for your children. I sometimes forget that. I'll pray for myself for wisdom, but then I won't pray for them. So I need to keep reminding myself, and I want to remind you as well too, if you're a believer in the Lord, if you pray to Jesus, He obviously will hear you and help you as well. So that's my first tip. My second one would be to establish a routine. So talk to your kiddos about what time you'd like them to wake up, what time they need to be getting dressed, get ready for school. Try to have breakfast for them. Definitely something with protein if you can. I noticed that if you just let them have cereal, they get pretty hungry pretty fast. So go over the routine the night before. Maybe you'll have to do that for like a week or so till they get it. And then have a definite start time. So say, okay, I need you to wake up at 7:30, and for the older kids, set your alarm, or 7 or whatever time they need. I need you to have devotions or to hang out with the Lord first, get dressed, have breakfast. If you have chores, feed the animals, things like that. And I need you to be in your seat and then you set the time. I usually try to start by 8 or 8:30. And then here's the caveat, you have to be there too. You have to be in your place with breakfast, dressed, and so forth at 8 too. I don't necessarily get dressed up like I'm going out, to the market or anything, but I do make sure I'm, decent and ready to go. I've eaten, I have clothes on, things like that. Because if I'm expecting that from them, then I also need to prepare as well and be there when I ask them to be there. Okay, had to put a little fire out. Everybody's okay now. All right, establish a daily routine. Okay, next, use a bell if you can. I use my phone. This would be for breaks as well as for start of school. Someone gave me this tip a while back, and it works brilliantly because it's not you saying it's time for school, it's the bell, and nobody can seem to argue with the bell. So there's a little bell app actually on an iPhone that you can shake your phone and it rings a bell, which the kids love. Sometimes they like to take turns for break to ring the bell. Okay, makes it a little more official. Next, have a spot for everybody. So like for us, I think I've showed you our classroom before, but we have desks for each child, and then I have my own desk. That way they know where their spot is, and a lot of homeschool moms will do this. So have like a desk or a table or a place that's just theirs, where they can put their books, their pencils, calculator, laptop. It's their space, nobody messes with it. It's always there, ready for them whenever they're back. Make sure there's good lighting there too, especially for reading and so forth. Okay, and then establish rules to your classroom. So, and even if this, like for us, we're in the dining room, and personally that's a little more difficult than the other house we lived in, but it's what we have right now and we're making it work. So if you have a designated room, I would highly recommend that. But like an office or a bonus room or something like that with a door. If you could set up with a door, it's more helpful because you can close it for noise. but for outside noise, like if someone else has the TV on out there. But if you don't, do the best you can. Like us, we're set up in the dining room, but I still have rules to the dining room. So you don't, and I call it the classroom. So you don't leave. One of my rules is you don't leave the classroom without permission. Another one is raise your hand if you have a question, and wait. You have to remind them to wait their turn. And then don't talk over someone who's already talking. So those are just 3 quick rules I have, but make your own. It's a little bit more official, and then it also teaches respect for one another. So it's not like a crazy zone with questions firing off and people leaving for a snack or going potty or whatever. Even for the bathroom, I say raise your hand. Even if you have to go to the bathroom, ask permission, and of course I let them go, but I'm trying to establish rules so that they respect each other, respect the classroom, the class time. It seems to help. Another thing is if you have multiple children, you can teach them certain subjects together. Now this would be if you're teaching from a manual, which I do. I teach from the Abeka manual. But if you're doing an online course, maybe this isn't as applicable. But if you're teaching, especially like a unit-based study or something like this, you could absolutely teach many grades together, especially grades that are 2 or 3 grades from each other. Things like Bible time or classical reading, music time, geography, science projects, foreign languages, things like that. You can bring everybody together, which is great because you want to have family unity, but also it saves you time. You don't teach every student music, you just teach it all together if you can. You can't do this with all the subjects like math and spelling and so forth. Those need to be taught separately in reading. But many of them you can join, which also teaches teamwork and patience and taking turns and things like that. Next, know your children. Do your very best. Here's where prayer comes in again and listening to the Holy Spirit. But notice them. Notice what they like, what they don't like. If one of your kiddos keeps, like, my son used to cover his ears when it would get really loud in the classroom, and I noticed that, and I'm like, wow, this is overwhelming for him, but it's not at all for my other child or children. And so I let him go to his room where his desk is for like taking a test or for reading or even a quiz, even if he's just feeling overwhelmed and all he's doing is math. Because I also have a 2nd grader and a toddler running around, and they can get pretty loud. He's in 4th grade. So if you notice a student that does better with quiet space, let them, but remind them to come back when they're done. You don't want them to, mess around and start playing with toys and stuff. So keep an eye on him. You know how long it takes him to read or take a test or something like that. And then go check on him if he doesn't come back. But that was another tip. He loves it. He gets his reading done way faster now. He's actually scoring better on things, I believe, because he's getting quiet time when he takes quizzes and tests quietly and so forth. And I feel bad I didn't pick up on it earlier. So learn from me. If someone likes it quiet, let them have a quiet space. Next, ask questions while you're teaching. I sometimes talk too much, I'll be honest, and I can see the glaze in their eyes. They're like looking through me. So try not to talk too much when you're teaching and ask them questions. If I see the glaze, I say, what do you think about that, Taylor? What is Zach, did that ever happen to you? Like if you're teaching on, I don't know, history or something like that. What do you think it meant when George Washington said this or that, engage them. And then they're, well, I think that, and they're back with you. So don't forget to ask questions. And then here's a huge tip that helped a lot. Have your younger students take their breaks with the baby or the toddler. Then you teach the older student or students the harder subjects or a harder science project, something that you might not want a baby around for. Now when I say baby, I don't mean like a nursing baby. I mean one that can walk around a little bit, 1, 2 years, 3 years old. It has helped me immensely when I have a child take a break with them, because the baby feels loved. The baby is being watched, sort of, as they play in the other room. And then I'm able to one-on-one get through that really hard math problem, or we're doing all the art with the 2nd grader and all the paint's out, and I don't want the baby in the paint, but I want to make sure my 2nd grader learns how. She loves paint, she loves art. I don't want to take that from her. So that's a good way to shuffle things around a little bit. While making the baby feel included too. And another tip, now this is not for everyone, but my husband works a lot of evening shifts, and so he's home in the morning. So if you can do this, I try to have my husband take the baby anywhere he goes. Like if he's gonna go to AutoZone or Walmart or anything for an errand, I say, hey, can you take the baby? And of course he does. So, and she has a good time because she feels loved by Papa. And then we actually do get done with school faster when she's with him. Of course, we love her and we'll include her whenever. But if he's able, if you have someone, a grandma, a husband, anybody over now and then that can take your little one on an errand, just to give you even an hour of alone time with your older students, that helps too, when and if you can do that. Okay. Also, if you have a very young baby still nursing, wait for one of their naps to do the harder subjects. When my baby was very young and I had the 2 older ones, I would just wait because they nap a couple of times a day. So you just try to time it on the harder subjects when you lay the baby down. Okay, everybody, we're gonna do math right now, or whatever the hard subject is. And then I also, but now she's older, she's 3. So now I have a desk for her. I include her as much as she wants to be included. We practice numbers and letters when she wants to. I don't want to force feed her school because I don't want her to burn out. I plan to start her in proper pre-K next year when she's 4. But for like a 2-3-year-old, maybe even a 1-year-old, I don't know, do your best. But I have a box and I put like crayons or Play-Doh or little things she can play with, puzzles. It's at her level and she loves it, and so she goes right to it, and it'll keep her busy. I have those little threading things too for her dexterity. So maybe don't put everything in, like rotate it every couple of months or even every month if you have to keep her interested. Hey, let's see what's in your box today. So she feels loved and needed, wanted. She has a place. This is her box. This is her space. That I don't want to make her feel excluded, although she's a little bit too young for school proper. I do my best to include her as I can. So I wanted to give you that tip about the box of tricks, or the fun box. Also, next one is stay organized or do your very best. I have a checklist. My mom taught me this. She homeschooled us as kids. She would give us a checklist every day of all of our subjects, and if we had a quiz or a test that day, she Xerox copied it with the main subjects, and then if there was something extra like a quiz or a speed drill or something, she would maybe add that on. I can't quite remember, but I add that on for them if they have something extra. And then they check it off. Let me actually show you one really quickly. So you can go to Walmart and buy these, but like I buy, so this is like a folder for each child, and it has the little envelopes inside. So here's my checklist for my son for Monday, and you can see I have all of the different subjects for him: devotions, math, language, writing, and so on. And when he gets each one done, he can check it. And then on the other side is all of the work he has to complete, like his map skills is right here, his speed drill, and then he'll have math behind that. And you notice they're paperclip because there's more than one in that subject. So this is language. I think he has a language homework and quiz. Now I'll teach on these subjects if there's anything new, and then I give them the homework, but then they're kind of in charge. And so when they're done with their homework, they give me this folder back at the end of the day, and then it helps me grade it. So it's not all over the living room floor or the classroom floor or upstairs or in that quiet room they went to. It's back in the folder. It helps me stay organized, and they also know the expectation for the day. That's helped us a lot. And then also try to grade if you can. I like to grade every day. Lesson plan every day for the next day. Again, not every mom is like that. That's fine if you grade on a weekly basis or a monthly basis. But for me, if you're using a manual and you're actually the one teaching every day, I like to do it on a daily basis if you can. And I try to do it right after school is over. So my mind is fresh, everything's clear. But here's my tip. I usually have the baby nap then, and then I have the older kids do a quiet time for like an hour in their room separate. Everybody's separate. It's quiet, and then I can get it done, hopefully in less than an hour. And then I put the books away. Here's my other tip. And then you're done for the school, in a sense, for the day, so that your mind can rest, so that you don't have to be teacher all day long. Which leads me to just a few more tips, and then I'll close out. These I titled, How to Survive the Other Jobs of Mom While Homeschooling. Okay, so you're done for the day. Now, that's when you would switch over. So have older children help more with chores in the house and yard work. You can't and shouldn't do it alone. Up their responsibilities and encourage them. They can do it. Try have them clean bathrooms, take out the trash cans all the way down to the street and back. Fold clothes, do dishes, anything that they're not doing right now. Think to yourself, what other jobs do I do as a mom that maybe they could do? Maybe the oldest one can do, or the second oldest one can do. Just try it. And believe me, they'll surprise you. They really will. I couldn't believe, my son is cleaning bathrooms already, which is great for me. I still clean them, but in a pinch, he knows how now. So if you start to feel overwhelmed, at least teach them how to do these things. And then, especially if you're having company, okay, Zach, you clean the bathroom. Taylor, you finish this and that and the other thing. They're able to help. It's a team. When you homeschool, I didn't realize it's a team effort. And so don't be afraid to ask your kids for help, because essentially everyone is home all day, making messes all day. So you should not be the only one cleaning up. So I just wanted to encourage you, please feel free and don't feel bad to have your kiddos step it up a little bit, wherever you feel is appropriate. Also, one thing I've learned the hard way is do harder projects or jobs on the weekend. I would try to continue to do things after school, after lesson planning, like maybe go grocery shopping or do bills. No, it exploded in my face because I'd come home and everyone was hungry and I hadn't started preparing dinner yet. I was at the grocery store or I was doing bills. And then, people got angry a little bit because they're hungry. And so I said, okay, I'm not gonna do that again. I'm gonna save the grocery shopping for one of the days off on the weekend, or have husband help you again. Maybe he can shop here and there in a pinch if you need a couple of things. But save the bigger things, I would, for the weekend. That way you can do them with a clear mind and an even pace. You're not racing, you're not stressed. That has helped me a lot. And then finally, take all the kids with you when you do work out. If you work out, I like to take walks. And so if you're worried about how they're going to get their physical exercise, I push the stroller with the baby and the big kids either walk or take their scooters. And it always helps us all feel better. We can talk, we can, talk about what we're seeing in nature and things like that. So if there's something you like to do already, if you like to run or walk or whatever physical activity, ride bikes, that you just include them. Because then everyone's getting fresh air, and then you don't have to later necessarily go make sure they, especially with a lot of things closed right now, like soccer and different things aren't even happening in some counties. So this is another way that you can incorporate many kids into your schedule so that it works for you. So I hope these tips have helped you. Don't forget yourself. Remember that this works as a family. So it needs to be working for the children, but also for yourself. So if you need to make some adjustments, talk to your husband, pray about it, talk to your kids, see if you can all come up with a solution. I hope some of these ideas have helped you. And then other mamas and dads out there, if you've had a good experience or different tips you want to share with us, please do. We can all help each other. Go ahead and just put them in the comments below. Thank you so much. Hope you have a great day.